Welcome back to the channel. Greg Allen F1. Saudi Arabian Grand Prix just finishing up a few minutes ago, and what a race we had. Let's get right into it. Before the race even starts, Yuki Tsunoda having some more power issues in that car, unable to start the Grand Prix. And of course, Mick Schumacher not going to start because of the tremendous crash he had in qualifying. Luckily, he seems to be okay, but we would not get to see Mick in this Grand Prix. Lap 1, clean start off for Checo and Max. I thought Kevin Magnussen had an amazing move there early on to gain a few spots. He does come home with a points finish today, so a really great start to the season for K-Mags in that Haas. Lap 4, Russell passes Ocon for 5th. That's kind of the only exciting thing we saw from George Russell. He kind of pretty much just raced in that 5th spot all day long. Not really in contention with the top 4 players, not really under threat from anyone from back 6th on. So pretty solid day for George Russell. He seems to be in that really good 4th, 5th place right now. So as Mercedes gets better, maybe they can start getting a little bit closer to those top 4. Right now, though, I think they'll be quite happy with where he is running. Lap 5, Alonso and Esteban Ocon put on a fantastic race between the two of them. And they had a couple close calls there. By lap 7, Alonso gets around Ocon. Ocon goes in lap 8 to try off track to try and get back around Fernando Alonso, and those two Alpines were having a tremendous battle for a while up until we finally got some team orders saying, hey guys, let's give ourselves some space. I was not so convinced there for a little while that we weren't going to see a tremendous crash between those two. Really close racing. You love to see it though. Really a lot of fun. The battle wasn't just the two of them. Valtteri Bottas and K-Mags got involved with there for a little while too, so we had a great 4-car run going on for about 2 or 3 laps before things kind of cleared out. And then the big news of this race, lap 15, Leclerc says that he's going to box to overtake. Red Bull responds. Checo being in first, dives into the box. Leclerc stays out, and that winds up being one of the most important moves of this entire race. Checo boxes, Leclerc and everyone else stays out one more lap. And Nicholas Latifi crashes. And this is becoming a little bit of a theme with Latifi, just in general in Formula One. He's kind of crashing maybe a little bit too much for my liking. In this case, though, he cannot get around this track. It seems like him and maybe Mick Schumacher, that lack of experience, they're both not looking too great at this race course. And Latifi does bring out a safety car. Huge advantage to Leclerc at this point, as he's able to get a free pit stop while it was still under virtual safety car conditions. Turns into a full safety car, and basically you get Sainz, Verstappen, and Leclerc ahead of Checo. Really unfortunate for Sergio. I felt completely gutted. And despite the fantastic racing we have at the end of this one, I kind of felt a bit of a gut punch, as he put it, in my stomach as well, watching the remainder of this race. Checo deserved better in this one, and I really hope that he gets up there. That was unfortunate. So safety car ends. Checo does look like Carlos Sainz got by. They had a little bit of an incident coming off as Sainz was coming out of pit road. A little bit of a scuffle between the two where Sergio pushed Sainz off to the side, and ultimately he just gave the spot right back as soon as they went green. Fernando Alonso, all of a sudden things blow up after about a 17-lap stale part of the race. Alonso all of a sudden has a cooling issue and has to retire. As that's going on, Daniel Ricciardo has a power failure and has to retire. He's unable to get back, though, to the pit lane, and at that point we realize that a virtual safety car is going to come out. And while all this is going on, Valtteri Bottas also has a power failure and has to retire his car. So everything broke all at once. Not really sure what's going on there. Reliability seems to be becoming an issue for this new car. For all the teams, still trying to figure it out. That'll get better as the year goes on, I would suspect. A shame for Ricciardo. I thought Norris and Ricciardo both had decent days, considering where they were a week ago. For McLaren, not finishing the race is not great. I feel gutted for Danny Rick on that one. Lando Norris does have a really good day, though, and he gets some pretty key points from McLaren today. Virtual safety car ends, and Lewis Hamilton, I didn't write it down here, had a chance to box on the virtual safety car, misses that opportunity, and has to put on a bit of a show at the end of the race just to score points. He does come home in 10th and barely scores points in this one. Kind of a missed opportunity there for him. I'm not really sure what they were waiting for in that situation. But he's not able to get in there, and so the race goes green again, and he has to come in and loses a ton of spots because of it. Max right behind Leclerc, and it's interesting. Later on, Max would complain that he felt it was unfair that Leclerc got close to him once he got the lead. I felt like Max may have gone a little above the deltas on the virtual safety car. I'm interested to see what we find out about that later. He was 4 seconds behind Leclerc before that caution, and then was right on him as soon as the virtual safety car ended. In lap 43 on, we got an amazing race though between these two, so I can't totally complain. Leclerc versus Max, round two, reminded me of a lot of what we saw in Bahrain a week ago. Lap after lap, these guys trading spots. I hope that we get this all year long in Formula One. Maybe not necessarily between Leclerc and Max, but if it is another great rivalry, I'm totally for it. Either way, just the racing's fantastic. We are seeing now 2 races into this that the new regulations are giving us some really fun racing, back and forth, some strategy and thinking that goes into making these passes at the right time. If you pass too early, guy can come back at you with DRS. So really fun stuff to watch. One thing I did have to write here, way too many replays in the broadcast. We have great racing going on between these two drivers, and they kept cutting the replays to show us what happened earlier in the lap, and we were missing action on the track. And I get that in past years, there were so few overtakes that you want to give those replays to the fans and kind of emphasize them. That's not the case this year, and I think that the direction of these broadcasts needs to catch up to the fact that there's great racing going on a lot more frequently, and we don't need a replay of every single pass we just saw, especially at the expense of seeing live action happening. Lap 47, Max takes the lead, and we would spend the next 3 laps seeing if Leclerc could catch back up. I think he might have had a chance there going into lap 49 there, and just missed it. Alex Albon and Stroll had some contact there. Some double yellow flags waved for a second. I think that cost Leclerc any chance of actually having that DRS zone down the main straight. And Max holds on for a massive win for Red Bull to get them back into this fight, and for him for the championship. Leclerc comes home second, Sainz third. Ferrari is just having a fantastic start to the year. I think they'll be a little disappointed they didn't manage to steal the win there. In the end, or not steal, but get it back from Max or get ahead of Checo the way they did on that. Maybe a missed opportunity to win there. For Max, does what Max does. Fantastic win. I do have to say one thing about Max, though. And I don't know if it's the direction of the Formula One broadcasts, because I'm sure that every driver is on the radio making complaints about what they're seeing out there. But it just seems in these broadcasts that Max is complaining so much. And I'm sure it's that they're just broadcasting his radio broadcast, but complaining about Leclerc's rear lights, complaining about him going over the white line, complaining about his speed under the yellow flag conditions. It's so much, and I feel like they're trying to create a narrative, because I know that every driver's out there doing that. And if they're not, then Max, what the heck? Like, we need to tone it down a little bit. But some direction problems with F1's broadcast, in my opinion. But that's just me. You can let me know if you agree or not. Either way, really fantastic racing out there. Just like the first week, we saw maybe a 15 to 20 lap period where it was got a little bit boring right in the middle. But it's more than making up for it towards the end of these races. And we're getting really fantastic wheel-to-wheel action. And that's all we all want to see coming into this season. Should note, I thought Mercedes, they're having okay races. All things considered with their bad speed. Hamilton was able to work his way through the field a lot more than I thought he was going to be able to. Winds up 10th because of missing that virtual safety car opportunity. George Russell is a pretty solid fourth, fifth place car right now, depending on what the top 4 are doing. Red Bull and Ferrari are way ahead of everyone else right now. I don't think that's changing for a while. But if Mercedes can get a little bit more speed, I wouldn't count them out of getting into the picture by the end of this season. So either way, good race. I believe we got a week off now, so I will be with my power rankings on Thursday. Let me know what you think in the comments if you came across this video, and if you like my content, give me a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.